Especially that lady last weekend, I felt really bad for her. Had the whole yard deer escape.
Chair, Ms. Bright.
And the. All right. Today's meeting of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is called to order on October 7th, 2021. Welcome, everyone. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Agendas of today's meeting are on the wall at the entrance to the chambers. Please remember to turn off all your cell phones. The Municipal Code Enforcement Board consists of 7 members who are appointed by the City Council. We serve voluntarily. It's the board's intention to promote, protect, and improve the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Clearwater by providing this equitable, effective, and inexpensive method of enforcing certain codes within the city. The board considers new business items in 2 parts. First, the violation, and then affirmative relief. Formal rules of evidence do not apply. Each side is limited to 15 minutes. The board may grant additional time. All proceedings will be conducted in a calm, civil manner. Individuals who conduct themselves otherwise will be asked to leave. If necessary, they will be escorted from the chambers. Now I ask all who plan to speak to please rise and be sworn in by the clerk.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
One second. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth throughout your entire testimony?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. Our first order of business is to review and approve the minutes of last month's meeting. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of September.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Minutes are approved. That was a weak eye, guys. Okay, is there anyone here to speak of items not on the agenda? Anybody for items not on the agenda? Okay. So we'll move on to new business items. 4.1 has been withdrawn. It looks like we're going to move to 4.2. This is a case that was continued from August and September of this year. Case 102-21 finds respondents Thomas and Dorothy Jessup at 1770 Drew Street in violation of code for sign maintenance and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Is there anyone here to speak on this case?
There is not, Madam Chair, and the property is currently in compliance. So I'm requesting a declaration of violation.
Okay. And may I have a motion on the declaration? Anybody? Motion on the declaration.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit. In this case, the violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. 4.3 is also continued from September, and we're pushing this to November?
Yes.
Okay. So we don't have to do anything on that one?
Correct.
Okay. And then 4.4, moving on. Case 131-21, find respondents Lindsay Corbett at 319 Venetian Drive in violation of code for short-term rental and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Is there anyone here to speak on this case?
There is not, Madam Chair, and this property is also in compliance. So I'm requesting a declaration of violation.
May I have a declaration?
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit. In this case, the violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter in order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Can I get a second? A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, case 132-21, find respondents Waterside Automotive LLC at 19500 US Highway 19 North in violation of code for discontinued signs and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fines if it is not met. Do you have?
Madam Chair, this property is also in compliance.
Very
I'm requesting
good.
a declaration of violation.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code. As referred to in the affidavit, in this case, the violation was corrected prior to today's hearing and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Case 133-21, I think we're combining with 156-21, is that correct?
If that is
Fine.
4.18.
Yeah, 4.18, finds respondents Dennis Hill at 204 Pennsylvania Avenue in violation of code for exterior surfaces and violation of code for unsafe building, and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Mr. Dixon, is there anyone here to speak on this case?
No, ma'am.
Okay, staff, are you requesting a declaration of violation?
No, the violation still exists.
Okay, so may I have a motion?
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
A second.
Okay, and then,
Sure. We can have that ready for you. Can do it.
The PowerPoint isn't loading. You want me to just use it?
oh, I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Technical difficulties.
So we didn't give them enough time in the beginning.
Nope.
I don't think so. It looks different. I guess I'll just have to give my recommendation on the projector, if that's okay.
Oh,
Do you want to use the,
It won't open. That is it. The one that looks different than the others, but would you like me just to go to my recommendation since nobody showed?
Yes.
There's one violation at this property for exterior surfaces for case 133-21 at 204 Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm requesting that 30 days to come into compliance with exterior surfaces or a $150 a day fine per violation for each day the violation exists. After 3 months from the recordation date of such liens that the fines and fees remain unpaid, the City Attorney's Office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such liens using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law. And compliance can be met by addressing any visible mildew and or dirt, peeling, or failing paint and damaged exterior surfaces. Would you like to see some pictures?
well, do you have the recommendation as well for the 156-21?
we'll
That'll be
do
Jason.
those
We'll
in
do
two
it separately?
different
Okay,
motions. Yeah,
sorry.
because that's a different inspector.
That's fine, yeah, oh, I didn't realize.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
You don't need to see pictures if you got that.
You saw them last time, this same property in 204 Pennsylvania.
I'll move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before November 27, 2021. That's 30 days, right? If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If the fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
I'm sorry, what was the date?
11/27.
Oh,
Thank you, that was my question.
Is that our next meeting as well?
I'm sorry?
Is that our next meeting, 11/27?
Our next meeting actually is the 17th because of the holiday. We're being bumped up a week, so our next meeting is actually in 3 weeks.
This gives them the 30 days.
So he'll actually, yeah, he'll roll into the next one. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh, are you on the
Ms.
computer?
Mr. Cantrell, 156-21. Yours works.
It does. Jason Cantrell, Building Inspector, City of Clearwater. This is the property at 204 Pennsylvania Avenue. Did you already ask if he's here?
We did, and do we need to do a separate motion on this violation since he's not here?
Yes, there will be a separate motion for this, yeah.
May I have are you requesting a declaration of
No,
violation?
it is in
I
violation.
move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
All in favor?
Aye.
start.
Okay, here we have one violation of the International Property Maintenance Code, Section 30411 for unsafe conditions, specifically subsection 5, structural members that have evidence of deterioration or that are not capable of safely supporting all nominal loads and load effects. A notice of violation was sent 10/6/2020. Affidavit of posting was done on 12/2/2020. And the compliance date was from the date of receipt of notice, 30 days to obtain the permit. He did not obtain a permit, so a notice to appear in Pinellas County Court was written, and that was heard at the courthouse on 3/4/2021. He was adjudicated guilty, and the fine was not paid. Notice of hearing was done on 8/12/21. Certified mail receipt was signed for, but it was signed for by the mail carrier, which is common during the COVID time, so I did go ahead and do an affidavit of posting just to make sure that the owner got notice, and I did that on 9/27/21. And here's the property. It is just east of Myrtle Avenue and just north of Drew Street. It's over by the Parks and Beautification Building, if you know where that is. This is a Google overview picture of the property. You can kind of see the exterior surfaces that are referred to by Inspector Dixon in the previous case. My issue is over toward the right-hand side. You see that plywood? Right to the right of that is a door. And just underneath that, you can see there is a structural beam under that door. It is quite deteriorated. As you zoom in close, it is completely missing underneath that door, meaning that there is no support for the floor system there. That's the left side of that. Just another photo of the same thing. This is the posting for today's hearing. And that's the same day as the posting, just showing the beam is still in the same condition. They did attempt to paint over some of the exterior surface issues, but the beam is still rotted.
Have you spoken with Mr. Hill?
Yes, a couple of times. He keeps saying he's going to pull a permit. He is a contractor, but he has not done so thus far.
And we're looking at over a year on this.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Is the home empty? Is he living there? Is it?
He's not living there. Every time I've gone there, there's been people there that say they rent from him. I've never seen him inside. Nobody ever comes to the door, but they're always on the outside. They seem to be doing stuff. They say they're working for him.
When you say beam, what are you referring to?
It is a girder. It is, oops, sorry, I went the wrong way. I wish I had a pointer. It's the wood right to the left of the step there, and that's a support beam that runs the length of the house. And that's what the floor joists and everything would be attached to.
And that beam is laying on concrete?
Well, it should be up on piers or something.
There's no beam there at all, so it's not laying on anything.
Right.
It's not laying on it, it's gone.
You would say it's unsafe to walk on. It literally can get, okay.
Yeah, it's not safe.
Do you have recommendations?
I do.
We do need, sorry.
Oh.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
For compliance to be met for this unsafe condition, repair or replace any areas where deterioration or damage exists to meet current Florida building codes, and all work must be properly permitted. The city's recommendation is to obtain a permit on or before November 27th, 2021, and complete that permit on or before January 27th, 2022, or a fine of $150 per day that the violation continues to exist, and any fines be applied as a lien after 3 months from the recordation date of such lien. If the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before November 27th. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, and settle such a lien.
Does that cover the second part?
Right, we need to add the second part if you want to.
The 27.
Complete the permit on or before January 27th, 2022.
Permit.
And to complete the permit on or before January 27th, 2022.
Thank you, Lena.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next case, 134-21, find respondents Daniel Venegas at 111 South Corona Avenue in violation of code for hauling trailer and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Is there anyone here to speak to this case? Hello, Mr. Kasman.
Hello. No, I don't believe there's anyone here to speak to this case. It's going to be a declaration of violation of property is currently in compliance.
Oh, it's in compliance.
Yes. it's in-
Fantastic.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Case 135-21, find respondents Christine Dorsilis at 214 South Highland Avenue in violation of code for delinquent business tax receipt and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Mr. Kasman, is anyone here to speak on this case?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Christine, no. Okay. Are you requesting a declaration?
No, the property is currently in violation still for delinquent business tax.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor, aye. Go ahead.
The recommendation for this case, Daniel Casman, Code Enforcement Inspector for the City of Clearwater. This is for 214 South Highland Avenue, case number 135-21. There's one violation here for delinquent business tax. I'm requesting compliance on or before November 27th, 2021, or a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day the violation continues to exist. We're asking the board to authorize the following. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law. And the compliance can be met for the delinquent business tax receipt by paying the delinquent tax receipt, which currently has a balance of $137.04.
Okay.
And the fee, your recommendation for fine is $150 per day?
Yes.
Okay. Does
How long
anyone
have
have
they
any
been-
questions for Mr.?
How long have they been without the business tax receipt?
They rented the property owner, Christine Dorsilis, has rented the property on and off, but has had issues with short-term rentals at the property before, grass parking at the property before, lot clearing, fence maintenance. I tried to get in contact with her. All she has to do is pay this business tax receipt and everything would be fine. So I'm giving her a month to just pay the business tax receipt.
I talked to her. Have you spoken?
I have spoken with her. Lately, I've not been able to get in contact with her. I've posted the property. It's been up for sale a few times. This is just one of the lingering open red business tax receipt cases in our backlog. She has rented the property, used to pay for her business tax receipts, just hasn't paid this fee.
Okay. I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before November 27th, 2021. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. It looks like 4.9 has been withdrawn. Moving to 4.10, case 137-21, finds respondent James Guinyand at 1537 Drew Street in violation of code for residential grass parking, door and window openings, exterior storage, and public nuisance condition, and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fines if compliance is not met. Mr. Kasman, is there anyone here to speak on this case? Hello, sir.
How are you?
Good, good. Can you state your name
James Edmund Guinyand,
and your address for the record?
1537 Drew Street, 33755.
Okay. Do you admit to the violation?
I'm gonna go with
Guilty on the doors because it's going to cost $20,000, and due to, cost of equipment and contractors, I've been put off for a little bit on that. Grass parking, really confused on that. His nuisance, questionable, and then exterior storage is still in the nuisance. I really don't know what I've been doing wrong. My family's been there for 87 years. I've been there for half my life, and all of a sudden, everything keeps get rewritten, and then I have to recomply, and now exterior storage is really questionable on how is that explained? Meaning, like, I read it, but still, so now I'm in trouble for having a trailer and then parking it on the grass. I parked it where it is on the grass because I have a 16-foot gate, and the fire department kept getting phone calls because I have a fire pit that's been documented since 1959.
We're gonna get to the case and we're gonna hear both sides, but we need to know first, do you admit or deny?
Well,
I would just take that as a denial.
Okay, we'll take it as a denial.
no, I'm gonna go with half and half. I admit to the windows and doors, but the rest of it, no.
Okay.
So you admit to the violation of the windows and doors,
Completely.
and so let's let the city present the rest of their case, and then.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Question them.
That's fine.
Thank you, James.
I'm sorry.
You just have a seat, we'll
up
call you
front,
back.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. I mean, that was the only one that I feel I'm guilty of.
Now, if the board wants to do the motion on the windows and doors, you can, then we'll have the city present the rest of the case. Or we can let the city present their whole case, and then you can decide.
The whole case.
Yeah, let's do that.
that. Okay, Mr. Castman.
Good afternoon, Board. Daniel Kasman, Code Enforcement Inspector for the City of Clearwater. This is for case number 137-21 for 1537 Drew Street. There are currently 4 violations of the property for Code Section 3-1502 G1, G2, and G3 for exterior storage not for use outdoors, and construction material storage. Code Section 3-1407 A.5 for residential grass parking. Code Section 3-1502 C1, C3, C4 for door and window openings, window maintenance, windows not facing the right-of-way. And Code Section 3-1503 A, B1, and B9 for odor nuisance, public nuisance condition, other nuisance condition. This is a definition of nuisance. Nuisance means that conduct defined in Florida State Statute 823-05 that conduct specified in this development code and any continuing condition or use of premises or of building exteriors or of land which causes substantial diminution of value of property in the vicinity of such conditions or use, any continuing condition or use of premises, building, exteriors, or land which unreasonably annoys, injures, or endangers the comfort, health, repose, privacy, or safety of the public through offensive odors, and that's the portion that's underlined in this case, noises, substance, smoke, ashes, soot, dust, gas fumes, chemical diffusion, smog, flooding, disturbance, and vibrations of earth, air, or structures, emanations, light, sights, entry upon adjoining property by persons or vehicles, or other unreasonable intrusions upon the free use and comfortable enjoyment of the property of the citizens of the city. Notice of violation in this case was sent on July 14th of 2021 with a compliance date for 2 of the violations were the 28th of July, and the 2 other violations was for the 14th of August. The 2 other violations were for grass parking and I believe the odor nuisance, yes, and then the other 2 were for exterior storage and the windows being boarded up on the property. The certified mail receipt was received on July 21st of 2021. So I received a complaint by neighbors in the area about a smell coming off of the property. When I went by on the 12th, there was large piles of food in the front being stored. There was many flies buzzing about. This is just a better look at the property of 1537 Drew Street when you see it. When I would take a look over the fence, there was a bunch of items being stored in under the what essentially is a carport there. On the grounds, some of the windows in the home were boarded up. Items all about the grounds of the property. And then I noticed the pigs in the backyard, along with cardboard boxes, vehicles on jacks. What I assumed was grass parking initially. On other various items, this is just a closer look at the vehicles. Then there's a pen against the fence at the neighbor's property where the owner is keeping pigs on the premises, and also a goat. I went back on the 30th after speaking with the owner and explaining that you had to clean up this property. We spoke over the phone. He did take care of the food that was out front for the animals, but then there was a vehicle parked improperly in the yard, in the front yard, not in the driveway. Still vehicles in the backyard. He was explaining to me at the time that his property is one of the older properties in the city where the driveway extends all the way to the back, to the rear of the property. That was on the 30th of July. He invited me onto the property with fellow inspector Ryan Odegaard and showed us around the grounds where I tried to explain to him what constituted exterior storage, what constituted items that can't be outside, and explained to him that the vehicles have to be in good repair and I would be okay with them being stored on the driveway because it was one of an older driveway designs and there's not much room up front. But only one vehicle could be stored in the grass parallel and adjacent to the driveway. The hauling trailer I have no issue with, the boat trailer I have no issue with. You can be parked in the rear or side setback behind a 6-foot wall fence or hedge, which he has on the property. This is just some more pictures of the items outdoors. I went back on the 9th of August and one of the vehicles again was parked in the front yard. I looked over. Looks like the property had been cleaned up a little bit since last time I was there, but the windows were still boarded up on the 17th of August. And then there were some new items being stored outside on the grounds of the property. Just same thing, bins, boxes, pallets. When you do walk towards the property along Drew Street, the smell of animals, of feces, of fermenting food wafts through the air. It makes it very unpleasant for anyone walking by or any neighbors. This is one of the windows appears to be a little more damaged on September 7th. I went back. One of the cars is parked in the backyard on the grass. Looks like the property cleaned up a little bit more, but there's still items all about the grounds. The goat was chained up in the front of the property at that point. On the 7th of October, I went back on the 25th, and the windows are still boarded up. There's still a vehicle parked in the backyard. Grounds have been cleared up more, but there's still items that are just strewn about, and the animals are still on the property. At that time, more food had been delivered to the front of the property, which had, as I was walking towards the property, I could smell once again the smell of fermenting and rotting food and animals and animal feces. And the animals, you're still keeping animals on the property in a pen in the rear of the property.
Animals are not allowed in that area?
Animals are not allowed in the city of Clearwater, but code compliance can't enforce on it. Only the police can enforce on animals.
Except for chickens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
chickens
so-
are under our
You-
jurisdiction now.
Okay, so separate issue for that.
Do you have anybody have any questions?
So many.
You're-
No, I don't have any other questions. What's your recommendation?
You wanna do recommendations,
Or you want to
or-
get a motion?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to come up here? Mr. Guinyand. Seems you have a little farm going on there.
Technically, it's a ranch because I don't have cattle or horses because I'm not allowed. I almost bought more property to do that because the rules keep changing. I didn't. The pigs are domesticated animals. Miniature potbelly pigs are not livestock. So I have a goat. That is correct.
Just to be
Now-
clear,
now,
we're not
just-
here to talk about the animals.
Well, that's clear that he posted the goat in the front yard. He said as long as I was home, he's allowed to be tied up. That's just my lawnmower. Yes, he's out front. He's what mows the yard for 8 years. He's harmless.
Okay,
He
again,
never
we're not-
leaves the property.
We're not discussing the animals. That's
Well,
not
that's
under
part of
our
what was just shown
jurisdiction.
on TV, so what am I supposed to argue?
The case is regarding the violations.
What violation? He was one of them.
The grass parking, the door and window
Okay,
openings,
the grass parking
the
was a
exterior
friend from Missouri
storage.
that didn't know, and I'm also gonna go with, since they widened Drew Street, I asked for a second apron. I have 2 properties. I have 1 apron. My truck takes up the whole driveway out front. There is literally basically no way to park the way that it's described safely on Drew Street where they're going 50 miles an hour. So sometimes people that I can't go out there and regiment all the time, it's never my vehicle. That white truck in the backyard, yes, that's me unloading food for my pigs. Sorry. I bought a second lot in Clearwater 20 years ago, and now I'm not allowed to use it. I bought the biggest fence I'm allowed to put up. I can't do anything more except for try. And it seems like every 6 years I end up back in trouble with the city because you change the rules. So what it's getting at is I'm not allowed to have pets. I'm not allowed to have trucks. I'm not allowed to have, I guess he took the trailers off of it. My house was built in 1929. If you go and try to rebuild these windows, you have to rebuild the whole house. I just did the front of the house. The stickers are still on it. The permits have been pulled. I'm not doing any more construction. I can't afford it right now. So right now, no, I'm not redoing the windows. I can't. I can't afford $20,000. So yes, I'm guilty of that. Parking on the grass? Absolutely. I own 2 lots. I'm hoping I can park on the grass. I mean, I pay property tax. And then nuisance. Okay, so bread makes a smell. That's grain. So grain smells like, and I have animals. So I can't describe nuisance, but I do clean up all the feces. The city of Clearwater used to pick up twice a week. Now they only pick up once a week. They charge twice, only give once. I can't throw feces away in the garbage. That's not legal. I'm sorry. So technically, yes, I do have storage containers to get rid of it properly. No, every single day I cannot afford to get rid of the feces, so it might take a day or two. Storing grain, I didn't know was illegal. Feed and bread is grain. That does not put off any crazy aroma that I know of, but he mentioned to me when I walked in that my bread storage was incorrect. It's in the city garbage cans, sealed, out back. That's a sealed container with bread in it. Grain, whatever. Really confused on how that makes an aroma. Everybody that has animals has feces on their property. I don't care how much you shovel. But I will say that, yes, I own a goat, and I didn't know that that was against the law. Because my grandfather bought that house 87 years ago, and back then it was agricultural. All of Pinellas County was. So it seems like since I'm 3rd generation, you're just pushing me out because y'all don't want us still here. My grandfather was one of the handful of doctors when Morton Plant opened. He bought the house. I bought the property from my dad. I'm the 3rd generation, and you guys are just telling me to put it up for sale because I cannot become compliant with the word nuisance. I have bread on my yard.
All right. James, I'm hearing that you do admit to these violations and that you need some help working
I
with
need
them
some help?
you need help working with them with the code compliance in order to get the property into compliance.
Well,
So
no, it's just the rules keep changing.
When do you think the rules changed last?
Well, I bought the house when I was 21, and I'm about to be 42 next month. So I'm going to go with 21 years ago, but yet I grew up my whole life on this property, and I watched my grandfather have all kinds of livestock. I watched my dad have livestock, and then I bought the property feeling that I could do the same thing. 3rd generation on the same property, and now I feel like I bought a deed-restricted community out of, I didn't know what happened here. So when I got out of trade school when I was 20 years old and got a job at Tack and Warren down the road as their head welder, I made a mistake buying property here because I wanted my kids to grow up and be able to experience the same thing that I did. Because when it was a dirt road on Drew Street, my family was there. Now I'm here, and apparently I don't count because, yes, I am a construction worker. If you can't tell by the shirt, yes, I am blue collar. I still want to be part of the community, but I can't have pets.
I think the city wants you to be a part of the
No, they don't, or else I wouldn't be here.
Well, we can't really go into arguments of that, but Mr. Kasman does have some recommendations, suggestions.
No, I know, and he's a very nice guy, and I've had discussions with him. I have no problem, other than it makes it seem like my best bet is just to sell the house. Because I can't spend $30,000 I don't have to fix the windows and doors, which is one of these things. Now you guys want to get rid of my pets because apparently, I quote this, other people, and then the aroma of, okay, There's a skeeter breeder pond right across the street that's called city-owned, just like pond. And when it stinks, I can't come to court for that because I've tried. I can't get a new apron. I can't get any more driveway. I've already tried twice. My dad tried and I tried. So I can't get any more driveway, so I'm parking on the grass. This is just jumping through loops every 6 years. So basically, I'm going with, you guys are telling me to sell the house. Because now I'm not allowed, no you are, because I can't have pets, and parking on the grass is wrong, but you own the grass. And then, the nuisance thing, that's really, and then the exterior storage. Okay, so I've got 2 sheds, a carport. So a carport back in 1929 when my house was built, that's a garage. So I don't have a garage. I got a driveway and a carport. So now I'm being told I can't store tools in my carport, which is the garage that was built with my house. Bewildered. So I'm guessing that my ex-wife was right when I brought tools in the house. I was an idiot. Because now you're telling me that all of my Matco toolboxes and Snap-on toolboxes and everything that works on everything that I do for a living is supposed to take up the house. That's what y'all are telling me, because that would be the external or exterior storage. So basically I'm going with juggling chainsaws, and I'm not good at juggling. And now I'm going to go with the word fine and compliance go in the next sentence. So,
Mr. Casman, and see what he has to assist you with.
well, you know what? That's fine, but talking to him would be in my front yard like we've done that. Now I'm here, and you're talking to me, so now I'm referring to what you're asking.
I understand that.
So now the next question is, chainsaw juggling is getting old. Now, what is parking on grass? I'm not allowed to park in my backyard. Why did I buy a 6-foot fence all the way around? Because that's the highest fence I'm allowed. And he's taller than 6 foot. Most people ain't. That's cool, I understand that. But I'm going with, why do I comply with every rule you guys put up every year, and then now I'm still in court? Or the library. I actually went to the court. I didn't think I was going to the library. I'm not checking out a book. I'm getting checked out.
Well, we're here to talk about your case.
In the library.
Yes. We'd really like to give you some recommendations that might be able to help you with your case. So,
Thank you, James.
to be clear, we're not here particularly about your animals. We're just here.
No, me and him have had numerous talks.
So he's admitted to the violations. Do we want to do a declaration?
No, that would be appropriate.
Yeah, I moved to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hello there again, board.
We appreciate you working with this homeowner.
Yes,
I understand there's a lot of challenges and a lot of history on this property.
I'm just going to show the recommendations. For the 4 violations, this is 1537 Drew Street. For the 4 violations of exterior storage, residential grass parking, doors and windows, and odor, I'm requesting compliance on or before November 27th of 2021, or a fine of $150 a day per violation for each day the violations continue to exist. I'm asking the board to authorize the following. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law. Compliance to be met for the exterior storage by removing or storing indoors all items on the grounds not meant for outdoor use, such as buckets, tubs, boxes, tools, construction materials, and any other miscellaneous items. Compliance to be met for residential grass parking by parking only 1 vehicle in the grass, and it must be parallel and adjacent to the driveway. I understand the property has a very long driveway. I'm okay with you parking 1 vehicle parallel and adjacent to the driveway in not just randomly in the backyard.
I haven't parked anything out front except for that white truck you saw in a long time, and that was on the driveway.
Okay, hold on. Thank you.
Only take one
Yeah.
person at a time.
So, compliance to be met for the window maintenance by repairing all windows that are currently damaged and removing any boards that are covering them up. There are currently no issues with any of the doors on the property, just the windows. And compliance to be met for the odor nuisance by properly storing all food for animals indoors, keeping the grounds clear of animal feces, and cleaning the pens to ensure the stench does not move beyond the property lines.
Question, can we break this into two parts, one, the windows being a separate part for timing?
However the board so chooses.
If we want, we can defer the windows. We can
Or you
push
said a
them
longer
to-
time form, not,
Or just a
Time
longer
periods.
compliance time.
You're talking about time.
we're talking about time periods.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you break the case up and then we push the window, we continue the windows
We don't have to
until.
continue, we can just put a longer date on it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I'm sorry.
It's a longer compliance.
A
Yeah.
longer compliance date.
Yeah, Mr. Cashman, what would you think is required to make the windows repaired? Is it just a matter of replacing the pane or painting?
In this case, there's a few windows around the property. They've been boarded up. What I showed was just on the west side of the property. The boards just, you can't have boarded up windows, and you have to have the panes just have to be glass.
Okay, so they take the board off and then they put panes on and maybe paints around the panes?
Honestly, I had no issue with the border around the windows. It was just the fact that they were boarded up and
Right.
they
Okay.
They don't have
could
to
possibly
be, they don't have to
damage.
be new windows, they just
Yeah,
have to.
to
So
be
it's
clear,
just
we're
glass
not talking
replacement.
about a brand new casing.
I'm not talking about
Okay.
brand new everything, just repair
Plexiglass.
what little damage there might be there.
Repair what's there.
So we could extend the time and just keep it in one case.
Yes,
No,
Instead
That's-
of breaking it up,
that's
just
correct.
extend the time frame for all of it to be addressed. That's one option.
or split it in two, because
Whatever
some things
the
are
board
remedied, some things are remedied immediately.
I'd like to see it go to the December meeting personally.
I
Give
don't
them
want to wait that long.
that window of time.
Yeah, I don't want to push it that, we should make a recommendation.
You guys
I'll
can- I
move to
can't
enter an
make-
order requiring respondent to correct the violations on or before,
I'd like December 15th.
December 27th, 2021. If the respondent doesn't comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, Mr. Gusman. Mr. Hill, do you want to come back up? I'm sorry. James, Mr. Guinyand. So the recommendation that the board has made is to give you a longer period of time until December 27th to get these violations, and then Mr. Kasman is going to work with you on exactly the specifics of each violation to bring them into compliance. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay. Think we're going to see you back here again, or you're going to get this corrected?
I want to go with, I'm pretty sure neither one of us want to see me again, right?
Okay. It seems like you have a really good handle on
I'm
what
not
the situation
here
is.
because it's a hobby.
Right,
I mean,
understood.
I've been here, like I said, for half my life in the same house, and I never knew I was breaking rules. So all these years I've been here, apparently I've been uncompliant.
Yeah, well,
And
it's become a
it
nuisance
takes
to the
that one
point
Karen next
where,
door who
yeah,
cut
somebody
down
is
my tree
complaining.
and called the cops, and now that one Karen has me in court, and I'm just gonna sell the house. If you really wanna know, I'm not gonna see you again because I don't wanna do this. It's just gonna happen again. Because now I quote this, in that I just heard I have to move my pins away from the fence.
No,
Nobody said that.
Just gotta keep them clean.
Just got it clean.
yeah, no.
Well, they're cleaned every day. And I mean, when I say that, I go out there 3 times a day and clean them. This isn't like anything that, so now all the construction materials that I got rid of was to make more pens, to like spread them out. So that noise nuisance, they make noise because I've got college students with elementary school students. They're like outsides.
There isn't a noise nuisance, there's a smell
No, no,
nuisance.
It all comes with the same. All right, so I've got an extension until December what?
27th, we'd really appreciate you working with Mr. Kasman to
Okay,
get
well,
these
I've got
restored,
court
okay?
with the county on the 2nd for the goat too. So now my question is,
Sounds like the
with the
goat might
goat-
need a new home.
now the goat, what?
Sounds like the goat might end up getting a new home.
Yeah, that'd be like me putting my kid up for adoption after 8 years. Like I said, I'm just gonna sell the house. You guys have you got your point. Thank you. I didn't know that having a free lawnmower and still being a cracker was a problem, but I will be back probably to this court to settle this but not after that. Am I gonna get it in the mail?
Yes, you will
Thank you
receive.
very much.
Thank you.
We need to take the second vote.
Yeah. There was a motion and a second, but we need a vote for the second motion.
Motion on the violation, sorry.
No, we just need a vote.
Oh, we didn't vote? I'm sorry.
No.
I thought we did vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Sorry. 4.11, case 138-21 finds respondents 1163 Drew Street LLC at 1163 Drew Street in violation of Code for Landscape and issue an order with a compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Mr. Kasman, is there anyone here to speak on this case?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. And are you requesting a violation?
No, they're currently still in violation.
Oh, okay. So, may I have a motion?
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we want to, if nobody's here, do we want to jump to the recommendations for time purposes? Okay, go ahead.
All right. Daniel Kasman, Code Inspector for the City of Clearwater. This is for 1163 Drew Street, case number 138-21. There's one violation here for landscaping required. I'm requesting compliance on or before November 27th, 2021, or a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day the violations continue to exist. I'm asking the board to authorize the following. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law. And compliance can be met for landscaping required by laying down a living ground cover in all areas that are unpaved on the property and maintaining the ground cover in a healthy and living condition.
Very good. I move to enter order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before November 27th, 2021. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may enter a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, Mr. Haslund. Case 139-21 finds respondents 1157 Drew LLC at 1157 Drew Street in violation of Code for Landscape and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Mr. Kasman. Is there
I don't
anyone?
believe there's anyone that's essentially the same owner, just a different LLC. Adjacent property, same issue.
Oh, the properties are adjacent?
Yeah.
I'd like to ask, so what you're looking for is for the property owner to plant grass?
They bought both of these properties in February. They still had grass out front. They paved and created parking lots, and any other remaining areas that had grass, they ripped up and threw down rocks, similar to 1487 Drew that we heard from last month. A new owner comes in, buys a property, rips up all the landscaping, and then just throws down rocks on the property as their ground cover.
So rocks are not...
Rocks are not an appropriate ground cover. Any portion of your land that's not paved, you have to have a living ground cover, either grass or an ivy or something of that nature. Rocks are not great because eventually they get taken over anyway by plants, and it then just becomes more difficult in the future.
May I have a motion on the declaration?
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Daniel Kasman, Code Inspector for the City of Clearwater. This is for 1157 Drew Street, case number 139-21. There's one violation here for landscaping required. I'm requesting compliance on or before November 27th, 2021, or a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day the violations continue to exist. I'm asking the board to authorize the following. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law. Compliance can be met for landscaping required by laying down a living ground cover in all areas that are unpaved on the property and maintaining the ground cover in a healthy and living condition.
Peter, did you want to see pictures or something? Are you good?
Yeah, do you have pictures?
Yeah.
We're not only are we talking about grass, we're talking about irrigation. I mean, we haven't had rain here in the last 4 weeks. And so if he
It's still a
lays down
violation.
some seed and it's not watered, then it's just going to be,
It's going to run right over the rocks and go right into the street and go right in the ocean.
right, well, you ought to take the rocks out and put
Yeah, so this was the property, 1157 Drew Street. This was February of 2021. I believe the owner bought it back in October of 2020. I went there, they paved the front. There's nothing but rocks on the side of the building, rocks on the little bit of grass they had over there. This was on May 5th. I went back on June 8th. I had spoken to the owner, and I thought we'd gotten everything cleared out, that they had to put down a living ground cover. I thought we were all on the same page, and apparently we were not on the same page.
Is there a permit for the parking lot?
No. They currently have a stop work order on the 1163 property for having put down the paved parking lot without pulling a permit.
So are you asking them to remove that?
No, I'm not asking them to remove the paved area. I'm just saying whatever areas they had not paved over have to be replaced with grass or living ground cover. And this is in the back of the property. They just ripped up everything and just threw down rocks everywhere.
Rocks to pick up.
That's a big project.
Have you talked to this guy at all, or gal?
I spoke to the owners and I explained to them you have to pull a permit if you're going to be paving anything, creating a parking lot. Building division went over, opened a stop work order on the property, and they attempted to pull a permit but never completed it.
So in the paving situation, did he ended up getting a permit after the fact?
They applied for a permit, but they never finished it. Yeah, it's an after-the-fact permit.
We never find him for that.
I believe it's currently in investigation, and I don't know the details of that, exactly how long they give them. I believe a permit's good for 6 months, so I can't hazard a guess as to how that continues from this point onward. I'm just here for the portions of the property that had grass that they didn't pave, and this all came as a complaint from property owners on the rear of all these that were bought up, saying that they were doing all this work and just destroying all the landscaping on the property. So I went back on the 7th of September, still rocks on the property. I went back on the 25th, 2 days ago, and there's just still rocks all over the property with a few weeds growing through everything.
Are you asking for the rocks that are down the side of the house and down that driveway?
Anywhere on their property that isn't paved, I want the rocks taken up, and I want some sort of living ground cover if they want to do an ivy or grass, sod of that nature.
Not asking for much, just
No.
make it pretty.
Now, if they come back and put
expensive,
plants
probably
in
what they
there,
already
is that
had drawn.
considered a flower bed now?
If they were to put in a good amount of flowers and maintain them in a nice condition, I'd say I could accept it, but they haven't done anything.
I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before 11/27/2021. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If the fines and fees remain unpaid, 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Case 147-21 finds respondents Eggy Properties LLC at 3101 Brigadoon Drive in violation of code for permits and issue an order with a compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Hello, Mr. Swinton. Is there anyone here to speak on this case?
I don't believe so.
Anybody? And are you requesting a declaration of violation? They're still in violation. Okay. May I have a motion on the declaration?
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And since nobody's here and we are kind of still midway through this, do you want to just move to the recommendations maybe?
Yeah. Okay, this is This is 3101 Brigadoon Drive. I'm Inspector Swinton, Housing Inspector for the City of Clearwater. For compliance to be met with work without a permit, they need to obtain all required building permits within 30 days, schedule, pass, and complete all required inspections. This recommendation for case 147-2, one violation, requesting compliance on or before January 27th, 2022, or a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day that the violation continues to exist. We are also asking the board to authorize the following. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, City Attorney's Office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedy available under the law.
Okay. May I have a motion on the violation?
Well-
Do you have questions?
Yeah. So what kind of work is he doing?
Okay, I'll give you a couple of pictures here. The work that's being done is actually in the rear of the building. Kind of want to get you started here. They're doing a balcony, installing a balcony. This is a picture kind of from the north, I would say, south side of the building. In the rear, where that blue area is where they begin to do the work. It's kind of from a distance from the front of the home. So a little closer. And this is what it looks like today. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a better picture because there's a tree line behind the home to be able to give you the full view of that balcony that's being installed.
So that's the balcony, that's the work.
Yes, underneath there is a closed-in screen porch. So that's the only area of concern is the balcony.
Have you talked to this person?
I have not had any communications with the owner at all.
Maybe we can spur him into communication.
We're just asking him to get permits, so.
And that was just a notice for today's hearing that was posted also.
And so he never contacted you after that, he's just,
No contact whatsoever.
He's not applied for any permits.
No permits, no communication. I go there, all the working equipment is on the side of the house as they were doing work even after I took pictures. They were continuing.
Any other questions? Okay.
Recommendation.
Can I get a motion?
I move to enter an order requiring respondent to correct the violations on or before, was it January 27th, 2022?
Yes.
If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Is there a second? I'm sorry, was that a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I oppose.
You put one nay. Case number 148-21 finds respondents 1446 Gulf to Bay LLC at 1446 Gulf to Bay Boulevard in violation of code for permits and issue an order with a compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Hello, go ahead, Mr. Swinton. Is there anyone here to speak to this case? No.
Don't believe so.
Okay,
either.
and are you asking for a declaration?
No, I'm not. They're still in violation.
They're still in violation. So I get a motion on the declaration.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The compliance can be met for this violation at 1446 Gulf to Bay Boulevard by obtaining required building permits within 30 days, schedule, pass, and complete all the required inspections. Recommendation for case number 14821, request compliance on or before December 27th, 2021, or a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day the violation continues to exist. And we're also asking the board to authorize the following. After 3 months from the recordation date, such lien, if fines and fees remain unpaid, city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal equitable remedies available in the law. And
Any chance these are related to the earlier cases?
no, this is a different.
Totally different. Okay.
Could you show us pictures
Sure.
again? And then my first question again would be, have you talked to these people at all?
I have had communications with the owner of this property. They did make some attempt to communicate me about saying they were going to get permits to do this work. Since then, no communications.
How long ago was that?
This would probably be about 2 months ago.
Okay.
And this is a Google view of the property, area view, trying to give you a view of the back of the property, where you can hopefully make out that there are windows in each of these units. It's a commercial building. And as you can see to the left with the blue arrow, they're beginning to close the windows of each of these units. So each window has been enclosed now. All the windows in the rear have been enclosed at this time.
Why would you close the window? Is it for security or?
I'm unable to get into the actual units. We've had other cases for this particular property in the past, and there have been some interior work being done, but I have not been able to get access to see if they're actually doing any interior
I
work.
have a question. Are the front storefronts occupied?
No, they're all empty. at this
Everything in
time.
the building's empty?
Is empty, yes.
They're commercial buildings, right? It's all commercial.
Yes, it's all commercial.
Normally, they don't have back windows anyway.
Right, I'm not
They
sure.
still need a permit.
It's not unusual to close those up.
Okay, and are there any other questions from the board? And can I get a motion on the violation? If there's no other questions.
I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before December 27th. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such a lien.
Does anyone second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, case number 149-21 finds respondents Eleonora Iannetta and Thomas Drake at 1360 Tioga Ave, in violation of code for permits and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Mr. Swinson again. Is there anyone here to speak on this case? Anyone?
I don't think so.
Okay. And are you requesting a declaration of violation?
No, this is still in violation.
Okay, may I have a motion for
I
the
move to
declaration?
find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
I second.
All in favor?
Compliance can be met at 1360 Tioga Avenue by obtaining the required building permits within 30 days, schedule, pass, and complete all required inspections. There's one violation at 1360 Tioga, work without a permit, requesting compliance on or before November 27, 2021, or a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day the violation continues to exist. And we are also asking the board to authorize the following after the 3 months from the recordation date of such lien. If the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies under the law.
Okay, board, would you like to ask Mr. Swinton any questions or see any pictures?
Same questions.
Okay.
Pictures.
Have you spoken with the owner?
Have not, well, in the beginning, this is kind of one that's been going on for quite a while. And it's basically a duplex. They decided to put a fence between the two duplexes in the front yard, and just would not obtain a permit
And you've talked to him.
multiple times. And just decided all of a sudden, within the last 2 months, all communication has stopped, so.
I couldn't help but notice the grass growing out of the gravel. Is that grass?
That, not sure what that is.
Yeah, we're not here.
It's probably mulch.
Does anyone want to make a motion?
I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before 12/27/2021. That's right. If the respondent does not comply by
Oh,
that date.
I think it was November.
Was it November?
November.
Oh, November, okay, November 27th, 2021. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If the fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Swinton. Case 150-21 finds respondents May Wren at 743 Fairwood Drive in violation of code for permits and issue an order with a compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Is there anyone here to speak on this case? May, do you want to come forward? Hey, May, please state your name and address for the board.
My name is May Jen, and I live in 743 Fairwood Lane, Clearwater.
Are you admitting to the violation?
I'm the owner of 743 Fairwood Lane.
Okay. Do you admit that there is a violation here regarding the codes for permits?
Oh, I don't want to violate it and, against the city. I always apply. I bought the house 2 years ago. I fixed, hired contractor, fix the roof, install the fence. Always, when this guy fixes there, he cheating me. I don't know. He didn't have a license. Then he he didn't do anything. There's no stairs.
Okay, maybe we'll take this as a denial and then hear what Mr. Swinton has to say, okay? You want to have a seat? We're going to hear what Mr. Swinton has to say, and then we'll call you back. Thank you.
Hey. Good afternoon again. This is 743 Fairwood Lane. Inspector Swinton, Housing Inspector. This is case 150-21. We have one violation here, and working without a permit, interior remodel and exterior staircase. Community Development Code, Section 4-203, Section A.1, and Section 47.083, Subsection 2. The notice of violation was sent out on February 24, 21. Certified mail receipt on March 4th, 2021. Notice of posting was done on October the 7th of 2021. This property is located just east of US 19 off of Drew Street. If you're familiar with the Wood Valley area by Moccasin Lake, this is where this is located. This is a Realtor.com picture of the property that was of the rear of the property. You can see that it is a two-story unit with a patio in the lower area, a balcony on the top. There was an attempt to put a staircase on the rear of this building for access to the second floor. My understanding is that the tenant, the owner, was splitting the unit to have a living unit on the bottom and a living unit on top, and the access for the top would have been from the rear of the building. Just another picture of the attempt of the staircase. Another picture. This is also a picture taken by Realtor.com of the interior of the unit, showing you the interior staircase and the, I believe, dining room area. This is a close-up picture of that staircase. This picture was sent to us by email from a previous tenant that took the picture. You can see that the blue area is showing that that bottom staircase has been removed, and the second staircase leading to the second floor has been removed. Also, you may notice that the floor joist or ceiling at the time is exposed, so I'm not quite sure what.
This is the current state of the property?
This is the current state of the picture from the picture. I have yet to have access to the unit. Ms. Wren and I had spoken on last month. We set up an appointment for me to get access to the unit. I went to the unit on the date that we set and never got access in. So I never got a chance to go in to see this for myself. So.
Okay.
Again, just showing you another picture of those floor joists. Posting of today's hearing.
Is it zoned to be multi?
No.
And is this part of a condo? Is it attached to other buildings?
Yes.
And
Yes, it is attached to another.
So
is it like a
Is it a
townhome?
fee simple property or is it a condo property?
It's a
I would have
duplex.
to refer that to, like a townhome, yes, townhome.
It is a townhome, so it's a townhome, so it's, okay.
Any other questions from Mr. Swinton?
Yeah, here's the thing I don't get. So if we make this motion,
We're going to hear from Mr. Wren first.
okay, all right. That's fine. I'll hold
Do you have any
my
questions for him?
question.
Okay.
So just back to those pictures, those beautiful staircases, they were taken out. Is that correct?
Per the photos that we received from the
Okay.
previous tenant, yes.
All right, I'm curious.
So instead of one dwelling with 2 floors, they're trying to make 2 different dwellings by
That is
removing the
right.
stairs inside and adding them outside.
Correct.
Ms. Wren, do you want to come forward? Hello.
I want to explain it to you that I want to apply for the city get the license, and the city said that because it's a townhouse, one side have common wall, this side no is grass. I already put the fence. I want to apply it for. It's only not fees not expensive, and the license contractor is hard to find and very costly.
I just have one question. Are you trying to divide your unit into 2 separate units for one person to live on the bottom and one separate person to live on the top?
No, just the relative.
Okay, but 2 different entrances, 2 different occupied units, essentially?
Yeah. I just waiting, my income only less than 2,000 each month. I'm waiting when I get enough money, a hire license contract to apply, put that, pay the CT fee and get the application doing the work.
Well, yeah, there's a bigger issue than just the contractor. There's the issue of if the city will allow that type of dwelling on the property. Because essentially you're cutting it into 2 dwellings.
And if you apply for a permit, you would know the answer to that.
Yes.
Without applying for a permit, you don't know an answer to that, and you're doing work that you
I
shouldn't be doing.
don't
till you
know
have a
that the
permit.
construction contract don't have a license. I thought he has a license.
Yeah, so that's going to be a
And
problem.
right now, there's no, outside no,
License,
I'm just wondering.
license is good. Permit is the ability to be allowed to do it. License means he's qualified to do it.
Because we don't want you to do all this work and then the city to not approve it, and then you'd have to undo it.
You need to get the permit.
Yes.
That's what we're here for today, is to get the permit.
Okay, so you understand the issue? Do you admit the violation then? If, essentially, it's that you don't have the right permits and that's what's needed.
I didn't want to violate anything. I didn't do that. And that guy cheating on me, he think he has a license. I don't know he didn't.
It wasn't your intentional violation, but it did happen. Is that correct? That's more or less what happened, right?
I'm sorry.
Okay. We can give you time to get a permit, but you're going to need a permit.
Okay. Are we going to consider this a?
I would just go ahead and take the vote.
Yeah.
Vote first.
There is no
I
first.
There is
move to
no
find
that's the problem. She hasn't admitted or denied the.
Oh, that's what I mean.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I meant when I said take the vote.
The first one.
Make a motion.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The one,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know.
We have a question from the audience. Is that allowed? Is he speaking? Are you speaking to the case? Are you a party of the case? You live next door.
Because this
That's
has to do
okay.
with the second part of the case.
Okay, please come up.
I want to solve the problem. When the first letter, I got many letters from the city. I have all this. I came in here September, and February I cannot come in here because like the tenants and the cop said, gave my phone to that guy Samuel Lee and arrested me. I stayed jail 2 months. I came back dealing with the court issues. I just had no time to solve this problem. Not I really don't want to violate anything.
Understood.
Have a seat for a second.
Sir, can you come up and state your name and address for the record?
Yeah, my name is Ramsey Johnson.
I'm sorry, what?
Ramsey Johnson. Johnson, Josen. I live at 747 Fairwood Lane.
Thank you. And your unit is attached to this unit,
She's
correct?
between 2 property I own. I own 739.
And everything's connected, and her property's in the middle? Okay.
Yes. So 739, where she put the fence up, she blocked my view. So now I have no waterfront. I bought that property 2015. for that purpose, and she put that fence up. I cannot maintain my screen at all, or my patio. I don't know if you saw that where she trying to build that stair box, outside. And this is not right,
Does your community have like an association that makes you approve exterior work or anything like that? No?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No. But she put that fence up, blocking
Without permit, yeah.
the beauty of the water view. So I put my house 739 in the market 2 weeks ago, and the inspector said that my house is not on waterfront anymore because I got no view. So she took like almost $40,000 down, which is not right. So that stair box she was doing is using my wall also. And
Yeah, we're gonna address that.
yeah,
We appreciate you being here.
you're
Thank you, Mr. Ramsey.
Wait a minute, wait a
Oh,
minute.
you have another, we have a question, please.
What is the name of your condominium? I know you asked.
Fairwood Forest.
What is it called again?
Fairwood Forest.
Okay. And you said you do not have a condo
HOA.
association?
Correct.
Is that even possible?
Older properties, some of them.
Yeah, there are a lot of communities like that that don't have.
Really?
Unfortunate, yeah.
Do you have common grounds?
Correct.
I don't believe that.
I lived there for 22 years, and she bought the house cash 2 years ago, and she's like, she wants to separate the two-story and get different people in, and
I think
she's
the
acting
condo
like,
association
I
laws
don't
were
know,
the
but
late
this is not
80s.
right. She knows what she's doing, because she has another property in New Jersey, it's rental also.
The building commissioner is here, correct?
Assistant building.
Is it possible for them to have grounds like that and common grounds without having some sort of association on file at the courthouse?
I do not know. It is a townhome, not a condo.
Okay.
So I don't know if the Florida statutes are different.
Hold on, ma'am.
Okay, one person at a time up here speaking to the board, please.
So to answer your question, I do not know.
Thank you.
Are you speaking? You're not speaking? Okay. Okay. Does the board have any more questions for Mrs. Wren while she's here?
No.
No.
Yeah, I think regardless of the HOA issue, that this issue is regarding the permits for what she's trying to do with the city for construction on her property. So,
Yeah, it's not even zoned for that.
well, that's, yeah,
We'll take care of
that's another department, but as
Yep.
far as we're deciding,
Can I add one more thing, if you don't mind?
certainly, come on up to the
Yes.
podium, please, Mr. Ramsey.
She put a roof on last year, and she extended that roof in both sides for that purpose, without any engineering. During the if you see the roof originally, when you got in Google, when there was no fence, now you see she extended that roof in the back and in the front.
Okay,
Just for that purpose, she can put a stair box outside.
okay. Thank you.
No, no, no. If you want to speak, you have to speak in front of the board. If you don't want to talk, you go outside.
So Mr. Swinton, then, on that aspect, is there, obviously, we're talking about a permit issue. Is there a permit for the roof extensions, or is that a whole different,
That's probably a whole different thing. That's the first I've ever heard about the roof.
all right?
All right, do we want to let Mr. Swinton make recommendations, or do
Yes.
we need to?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, 743 Fairwood Lane, for compliance to be met, obtain all required building permits within 30 days to return the interior structure back to its original state, schedule, pass, and complete all required inspection. Case 1 150-2, requesting compliance on or before December 27th, 2021, or a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day that the violation continues to exist. We're also asking the board to authorize the following. After 3 months from this recommendation, date such lien. If the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before 12/27/2021. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid for 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Swinton.
Madam Chairman, may I ask some further questions, if I,
To Mr. Swinton?
yes,
Okay, we have ruled on the motion, just to know.
I know.
Okay. I'd like to also speak with Mrs. Wren and make sure she understands what needs to happen.
Okay, may I ask a question? Why didn't you put a stop work order on the work that's being done? Is there a stop work order on the work that's being done?
This is a stop work order case.
Okay, so let me ask you this, if I build onto my house and I don't have a permit, and then you cite me and I have to correct that before a certain date, then there's no fine? I don't get a fine at all for working without maybe the assistant building commissioner could answer that question.
You'd have to get a retroactive.
This is the process that we take once the stop work order. We send out the letter or notice of violation, letting the owner know or whoever knows that they're in violation of not having a permit.
So there's no fine?
No,
so
no
if you
initial
get caught, if you get caught, then you pay, but if you don't get caught, then you skate.
We do have a 3 times permit fee for work that is started without a permit. It's in our fee schedule.
Okay.
And Mr. Swinton, this was just for the stairwells, it wasn't for the fence, correct?
The stop order that I sent, the notice of violation was sent for the stairwell and the interior remodel.
So in your recommendations, he would have to take the fence down and?
Not the fence.
No.
The staircase.
That somebody
fence
would
was
have to
permitted.
make a separate complaint on, because that's not what is covered under this one.
The fence got a permit. The fence was permitted.
Oh, the fence
the
was
fence is
permitted.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Swinton. Mrs. Wren, do you want to come forward one more time, please? I just want to make sure you understand.
Living with this man, and he squeezed me, put the fence, he said, give him 3 feet space. This side have grass, and he moved my fence and make the concrete. And he complained to the city, my fence is 6 feet 5 inch tall, and he made his concrete this 5 inch.
Ms. Wren, I'm
from
sorry,
his
the
side.
board
No.
has voted on this motion. I just want to make sure you understand that we have voted for you to get permits for these stairwells inside and out.
Yes.
And you cannot do any work on them before you get those
Yeah,
permits,
yeah,
okay?
understand.
And the city's answer
Yes.
might be a no,
Thank you.
okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Case 155-21 finds respondents Michael Chiavatti at 599 Bay Esplanade in violation of code for permits and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Mr. Contrell, is there anyone here to speak at this case? No, nobody. And are they still in violation?
They are.
Okay. So may I have a motion?
I
of
move to
declaration?
find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
I second.
All in favor? Can we have your
I'm
recommendation?
going to try to quell some of your questions and go ahead and present the
Okay.
whole thing, if that's okay. Okay. This is Jason Cantrell, Building Inspector. This is the property of 599 Bay Esplanade. We have one violation of a stop work order here, citing Community Development Code, Section 4-203A1 for a permit required. Notice of violation was sent on 6/19/2020. I did receive a phone call from the owner on 7/13/2020. At that time, he told me he is not doing any work that would require a permit, and that this was going to be his house that he lives in. Just so you know, it is zoned for apartments, 5 to 9 units. I did receive a second phone call from him on 12/20 at that time. He told me that he has an engineer working on the drawings, and he will be submitting for the permit soon, which he did do. That was applied for on January 22nd, 2021. However, the permit was never obtained, and the contractor eventually voided that out on July 9th, 2021. A notice of hearing was sent on 7/20/2021, and an affidavit of posting was done the same day for today's hearing. And compliance from the original notice of violation was from the date of receipt of that notice, 30 days to obtain a permit. And this is the front of the property. You can see there's a dumpster there. They're clearly doing some work. This was my posting of the stop work order that first day on my initial inspection. The contractor did let me in. You can see they're framing out, they're doing an entire build out. You can see new electrical wires hanging down, new AC. This is around the back of the house. This is what it originally looked like. And that's part of that fence that's falling down there. And that's looking over the fence. You can see it's in quite a state of disrepair. On a later inspection, you can see there's 2 new doors there. There's also 2 new condenser units that were installed.
He owns the whole building?
Correct. The electrical and HVAC lines, you can see, are improperly routed through the wall, just a hole in the wall there. That is the posting for today's hearing. You could also see they did 2 new garage doors there. They've got some new siding installed, a new door, a new window. And that's what the back of the house looks like now. They've done quite a bit of work to complete that. New sliding glass door, siding, soffit, fascia. The drip edge around the roof appears new, but I can't tell if a new roof was done or not. A new fence was put in. I'm going to have to open a stop work order for that, which I have not done yet. That's all I have.
That's a pretty large size building.
It is.
And to not have any permits on.
It is. It's right next to, I don't know if I had a map on there or not, but it's right next to the the beach rec center. There's the rec center and then the lot that all the city vehicles park in. They're right next
If
to
you're
that.
gonna do work without a permit, I wouldn't recommend buying a property right next to the city building.
No.
So again, if he complies and gets a permit, the cost of the permit will be 3 times?
Correct.
Well, there's quite a few permits.
Okay, well, that's important for the board to know that.
But all of that work, I mean, with a multi-unit building, there's, fire separation that's required for the protection of all the
You might
tenants,
want to consider a higher fee.
None of that's been looked at yet, so
You might want to
if that's
consider a
covered
higher
up.
fine.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, your recommendations?
For compliance to be met for the stop work order, obtain active permits for the work performed and complete all required inspections. Recommendation is to obtain a permit on or before November 27th, 2021, and completion of that permit on or before February 28th, 2022, or a fine of $150 per day that the violation continues to exist, and any fines to be applied as a lien. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if fines and fees remain unpaid, City Attorney's Office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such a lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
Can I'm allowed to make a recommendation, right?
Yeah, you just can't make a motion.
Right, so I would recommend a higher fine, because it's a 5 to 9 unit building. He's gonna be getting a lot of rent money from these properties once they're clear.
We can go up to $250.
You can go to 250. That would just be my recommendation. So do I have a motion?
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
We already have the
Yeah,
first
okay.
motion.
A motion of the violation.
I move to enter an order requiring the respondents to correct their violations on or before with permits November 27, 2021, completion by February 28, 2022, or January 22nd, 2022. If the respondent does not comply by the date, the board may order a fine of $250 per day per violation.
I'm sorry, David, completion by February 28th, 2022.
Sorry, completion by February 28, 2022.
Sorry.
I just started that way and went the wrong way. The board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I?
That was just my recommendation. The board can do whatever, he can motion whatever he wants.
So is the motion for $150?
$250.
$250.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry,
thank you.
change that, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, and we have done case 156-21 earlier, so we're gonna move on to unfinished business.
You want to do those as one?
All of the affidavits of compliance, we can lump them as one, correct, Nicole?
Yes. Yes.
And can I have a motion to accept the affidavits of compliance?
I move to accept the affidavits of compliance as listed.
Can we get a second? All in favor? I know it's going long, folks. Hang on, we're almost done.
Almost.
All right, are there any other board actions?
So for item 7, the nuisance abatement liens, you can take that as one motion as well, unless there's, yeah.
Okay, can I have a motion on the nuisance abatement lien filings all lumped into one?
I move to enter an order finding the respondent in violation of the code requiring the respondent to correct the violations with 5 days of the board's written order. If the respondent does not comply within the time specified, the city may take all reasonable actions, including entry onto the property to abate and maintain the nuisance and charge the respondent with the responsibility costs, which will become a lien on the property. If costs, fines, and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, I close this portion of the public meeting.
Adjourned.
That was a nice long one. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging in there.